Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Um, Coming on real quick, just something dropped in my spirit while I was driving home. We are in a season when God is giving us the three P's: the plan, the process, and the promise. And while we are in the season, we have to pay very close attention to what God is telling us. However, we also have to remember that the promise is what we want to get to. Is the promise. Let me elaborate on this. Esther had a plan, she had a process, and she had a promise. Noah, he had a plan, the process, and a promise. We have to make sure that we stay on track and we hold on to what God has promised us. For instance, you're going to school, you want to be a doctor. That's the plan. The promise is to be a doctor. It's the process that a lot of us have a problem with. That in between. Because, see, we have to go through something. We have to be up late night studying. We have to turn away some of the parties that we used to go to, when you're in college. You have to turn away some of the phone calls. You can't respond to everything. You have to back off social media. You have to tell some of your friends, no, I can't hang out today. You can't attend a lot of events because you have to continue to stick with the process. You have to stay in the middle and stay focused, and you can't get distracted by different things. That's why when you are in a process, when God is having you in that process and He is telling you to go get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and pray, fast on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, stay in your word, read this book, read that book, don't react to that, be quiet. You don't always have to respond to something. Don't post this, don't go there, don't listen to that, don't wear that, don't entertain that, don't talk to them right now, don't engage with this right now, don't go to this event, don't go. He tells you all this because it's a process. It's a process because there's a promise at the end. And He is giving you the process. The process of it is to encourage you. The process of it is to tear off some things so you can handle the promise that the thing that He promised you. The process is though that you stay focused on God, you get delivered from whatever was hindering you. He begins to pluck and purge you. That is the process. Too many of us want to go from the plan straight to the promise. We don't want to do no in between, and that's not how God works. He has to prepare you. So you have to trust the process. I know we hear it many times, trust the process, trust the process. Well, what is the process? The process is getting you aligned with God's will for your life. The process is doing everything that God is telling you to do. The instructions, the fasting, the prayer. That is the process. You have to trust the process. You can't just go from A all the way to Z without going through the rest of the letters. There's a process to this. There's a process to this. For ladies, for you that still relax your hair or used to relax your hair like I did, there was a process. You had to base your scalp. You had to make sure you parted in four things. Then you had to put it all in your hair, and it had to work through. It had to work through. That was the process. Men, same for you. If y'all wear your little S curl or whatever you gotta do, it's a process. Everything is a process. Going to buy a vehicle, going to buy a home. Yes, the plan is to buy it, but there's a process to lead to that promise, to get that home, to get that car. So I want to encourage you all today to stick to the plan, the process, and the promise. But you have to stick to the process. You have to stay focused. Don't get distracted. Don't go to the left. Don't go to the right. You have to stay the course and stick to the process. Trust the process for your life. Trust that God is going to keep you on course. He's going to give you those instructions, and you follow every instruction that He gives you. Too many times we just want to like I said, jump from A all the way to Z, and we miss the whole process. There's something in the process that is a learning experience, that builds character, that builds your faith, that encourages you, that gets you able to deal with the next level that God's going to give you. This is why he says trust the process. If you can't trust the process, then you're not ready for elevation. And we keep talking about elevating. If you can't trust the process, you can't elevate. God wants to elevate you, but you have to trust the process. You have to go through the process. You have to go through the process. In order to go through the process, the reason for the process is so that you can handle the promise. You just can't, you're not going to be able to handle it. If you don't go through the process, you can't handle the promise. So that's the reason for it. And I know you're kind of thinking like, well, why I got to go through all that? Oh, I got to go through this. Because you're not mature enough to handle the promise. That's like right now, if I give my 16-year-old $10,000, she's not mature enough to handle it. Because she hasn't been taught. She hasn't went through the process of how to manage that type of money. Go through the process. Stay focused on God. Pray. I'm big on prayer. I know I'm always coming on with a video talking about prayer, but I'm big on prayer. Pray. Read your word. Fast. Seek God. Hear from God. Turn down your plate. Turn down the social media. Get away from different things. Spend some alone time with God. Trust the process for your life. Just wanted to let you know that God is a faithful God. He's a loving God. He's never going to give us no more than we can bear. But we have to trust the process. I just wanted to come on and encourage you all. I know that some of you are going through this right now, that you got the plan, you're in the middle of the process, and you know there's a promise. And right now it's getting kind of discouraging. But God wants to let you know, trust the process. He knows the plans he has for you. He formed you in your mother's womb. Before he formed you, he knew you. So trust the process. Trust the process. Be encouraged.